Yes, we're back, and I'm starting to think that just maybe, I'm the problem here, and I'm the unlucky one, because every time I come on to do a post-match show, it feels like this season we draw. And again, it is another draw for the fourth time this season. Celtic have had a 0-0 draw as a goal was won by Hibs today at Celtic Park. But regardless, we're going to come on, we're going to dissect what we can from that one today and ask what went wrong and whatnot. So yeah, as you can see, folks, it is a triple threat of Tim's on tonight. He is at the mercy of the Travel Lodge Wi-Fi connection right now, but he's made it. Mr. Postmatch is here, the face of Postmatch, the voice of Postmatch. Terry, other than the result today, it sounds like you're living your best life today, mate. How you doing?
Well, see, just on the internet, I've just paid £3.50 to get a connection. You get 30 minutes free, and I thought, no, I'll need to stay on more than 30 minutes. So I've just had to pay £3.50 just to get on my own pod.
Oh my god! It better hold up for £3.50. It better hold up.
I was saying to you before there, I've had a really good day. I met up with Steve-O from the Celtic World Order before the match.
Oh, brilliant.
And I met with Reegan after the game, and it was absolutely pissing down. And we went into a pub, and we had a couple of drinks, and then we got a taxi back to his, dropped him off, and then I came back to the hotel. So I've had an absolutely brilliant day, apart from the match. Everything else
came over.
Everything's been superb. Today has been brilliant, except for that 90 minutes that I sat through. But we'll get into that.
Oh, absolutely horrendous. And of course, Liam, I said last night, you and I would be jumping on to do this. We're back for the second night in a row, mate. But again, other than the result, how you doing in general tonight, mate?
Just when I thought I was out, you pulled me back in.
Exactly.
God, man. I'm going to rewatch The Sopranos or something. I can't keep watching this. This is dire. I got to do something. Terry, what time do you start the day? I need to start right now, I think.
we were in at 9 o'clock. We got away 9 o'clock this morning, and you had to buy a sausage bab before you could buy a drink. And we got 3 or 4 sausage babs.
They don't give you a sausage bab, do they? Aye.
Oh, wow.
That no kid on?
I was up quarter past five. So I'm really, really tired now because I've been on the go since that time, and flew over. So it's only a 25-minute flight, but we've been in the city centre since 8:30 this morning, and been on the drink since 9. So it's been a long old day, like.
You need it after that performance today. Definitely, that would help you get through it because, yeah, it was brutal stuff. But of course, folks, before we get into the finer details of today's game, regardless of probably wasn't many details to go over. But anyway, before we do all that, you know what to do, folks. Do all that good stuff. Help us out massively. Hit the like button. Help us out in the algorithms. Help the traction of the channel. If you discover us as well tonight for the first time, and you like the cut of our jib, then by all means hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell notification to be reminded when we're on the road. Get involved in our comment section. Let us know what you thought of the game. I can probably imagine what that is already. Let us know what you think of the bigger picture right now, because obviously I think tonight's going to be more of a broader discussion of what happens next, because as I said at the top of the show, this isn't the first 0-0 we've seen this season, and it's not even October yet. That was the 4th 0-0. So yeah, there's definitely a problem going on at the root of Celtic, and I don't mean off the field. We know there's plenty of problems off the field right now, but on the field, it looks like there's some problems. So also get involved in the comment section and whatnot. And yes, share the link far and wide and become a member if you wish as well. Get yourself a wee Celtic scarf next to your name for $1.99 a month and get access to other emojis and whatnot and help keep diesel in the tank of this bus. And yeah, with all that said and done, I guess we'll start how we normally do, Terry, on the post-match. I've got the lineup saved here, and there was a few questionable things right off the bat that stood out. So here was today's lineup. Now, last night, myself and Liam on Friday Feeling, we were looking ahead to the game, and a few people in the chat did say that don't be surprised if Ralston comes in. In fact, Liam, you also said it as well, because you wouldn't have been shocked. And that was one of the first things that stood out, because Kobe Donovan, he's not done much wrong, to say the least, Terry. It was a real surprise. It was definitely one that stood out right off the bat. What about yourself? Was that one instantly sticking out to you like a sore thumb, Terry?
Aye, absolutely no need. Absolutely no need whatsoever. Don't see the point of it. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it makes a difference between 1 point and 3 points, but I just do not understand the rationale behind it. I just don't get it. The young lad's he's on the crest of a wave. He's flying. Ralston's just coming back from injury. like I would have understood if Donovan played like the first 60 or 70 and then Ralston come on to try and build his fitness, but I just do not understand. I don't understand bringing him in. I just don't get it one bit. And to be honest, I was surprised with the amount of change. I would have thought this would have been more like the Europa League team, and then the team that played on Wednesday would have played in the league. I just found the selections very, very strange. And don't get me wrong, you can kind of work out Tierney 3 games in a week. Okay, fair enough. McCann and Engels, we've all been asking for McCann and Engels to come in, for Hatate and Negrin. We've been asking for Bernardo to come in. Did you hear the cheer he got when he came on?
I did, yes, and yeah.
Maida couldn't play on the right during the week, but he can play on the right today. I don't understand. Connecticut, he was okay today. He wasn't just at the levels of the first 2 games. Iheanacho, I was glad to see him through the middle. But a lot of questions with that team, just because what the manager has, the story that he's given us over the last weeks and months, it just surprising. I was surprising that the midfield changes come in this game, because this was a big game. This was a big match. This was a game full of jeopardy. Hibs have started well. They're one of the stronger teams in the league. I value the league as more important than the Europa League, but it almost felt like we made changes today because today was less important than Wednesday. I thought today was more important than Wednesday, and I wanted to see the strongest team, and that just didn't feel like it. And Donovan's in the strongest team right now.
Yeah, on forum right now. I know that Anthony Haggerty on the Celtic Wales talks about the yellow jersey as in like the Tour de France. It's his to lose right now, and yeah, I was quite surprised at that one myself. But Liam, looking at the team on the screen there, was anything jumping out to you other than the Ralston Donovan thing? What did you think of the midfield three? Because that was something we called out for last night on the Friday Feeling. Liam, was something needs to change there. I'll say this, I know it wasn't many positives today, but I actually thought McCown played not too bad. I think he was always looking to move the ball forward at times. McGregor was more of the same. There was a couple of times he actually did try a shot from outside the box, which was kind of just shooting into traffic a lot of times. It just bounced off a Hibs player and went away out for a goal kick or a corner, whatever. But how do you think of the changes, Liam, in the midfield in particular?
So the midfield, I think that's what we were crying out for, just to give these 2 guys an opportunity and see what you can do. So if you look at the 2 of them, McCown certainly looked like he was up to take that opportunity.
Yeah.
McCown's a weird player. There's a reason I don't know, like he's not let us down. He's like, I think he's played well this season when he comes on, and Engels, when he came on, you look at the opportunity he had, I think he just wasted it. See, for a guy that we kept getting told about is such a technical player, that it's all about, he's got good technique. He could probably play in a much bigger team, that somehow he's going to be so much better. I don't see it. Some of the balls that he had today, you could just see there was a flaw in every part of his game. Blistering balls past the net, just missed time passes, lost tackles, just not playing with a confidence of anything. And I think if you look at the midfield and that, and what you're saying about Donovan earlier as well, we seem to strip the momentum away for anybody that's ever getting hot in one position. As soon as we start getting somebody that's building a bit of momentum, Rodgers wants to pull them back a bit. Like there's some sort of, like, that's part of his coaching method, that he's going to build up this desire, this passion, because he's never going to give you everything you want. And he's just doing nothing, but he's saying he's a big tease. But that's not happening that way. It's coming across now. He's just stripping confidence and momentum. Right now, you're seeing players regress under him.
Liam, see Taneke. I was watching Taneke the first couple of games, and all that was in my head was, "I'll give you a couple of weeks, and we'll soon get that out of you." You're taking your man on. What are you thinking about? You need to recycle the ball. I was thinking, this guy's a breath of fresh air. It'll not take Celtic long to knock that out of him, and it looks as if we might just have done that.
Terry, I thought the same with Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney as well too. He's getting the ball, and the first thing he's doing is looking for that pass back. I'm starting to forgive everything I ever said about Greg Taylor. And this is definitely down. I still shit defensively. But
Am I
that's
drunk? Am I drunk? Am I drunk, Phil? Am I drunk?
I heard it as well, and I'm definitely not drunk. I heard it. The people in the chat heard it. He's put it out there now. He can't take it back. That's
Is
it.
there a klaxon? Is there a klaxon?
Oh, I'll get you the klaxon. I'll do that. No problem at all.
Maybe
There it is. Hey.
Maybe we're all deed. The world's a hologram. Hate to break it to you, boys on the bus.
There's a glitch in the Matrix. Liam just praised Greg Taylor.
Mate, there is a glitch in the Matrix right now, and that's Brendan Rodgers. And we've got to get him out the Matrix.
Well, I'm going to put this question to you. This is why I wanted to put it to you right now. But we're just going to go because again, I know you love Brendan Rodgers right now. Obviously, a lot of chants today, rightfully so, about sack the board. But Liam, question to you is: Are they chanting the wrong thing at the moment about sacking? Should it actually be sack the manager in your eyes? Because you're really not his biggest fan, and I don't think he's doing much to win you over right now, mate.
He thought we were excellent today.
He thought we were excellent. I can't even bring myself to watch it. I don't even know.
Thought we were excellent. Oh. And not in the scoring chances, and the quality. I see that fucking lean in on the key messaging points. That drives me nuts. It's like, come on, mate. You watch too much Tony Robbins. Just get a football guy in there. He's no football guy.
Yeah, I've not even watched this post-match, but again, I had a feeling it would be something like that. Because, okay, yes, we did make a lot of chances today. It wasn't like some of the 0-0s we've seen this season with Kairat and Rangers, where we just didn't seem to attack. We actually did probably make more than enough chances to win probably 2 or 3 games of football today. But the quality. What quality? It was like if we had the quality, we would have stuck some of the chances away. Ian Natural missed a few sitters. Let's be honest. Sriracha zipping one across the goal, and he just slides for it, misses it. There was one in the first half where Maeda did really well to get onto a ball. I want to say by Luke McCown, pinged one over, and Maeda got in behind, zipped it across the goal, and Ian Natural stuck it over the bar pretty much from close range. There was unlucky ones as well, like Sriracha hit the crossbar at one point. Earlier on, in fact, you mentioned it a few minutes ago, Liam, the Engels chance as well. Do you know what it reminded me of just on Wednesday night there with Reegan? It's rolling towards him, and there's just no conviction behind the shot at all. Just no conviction there.
It was like Louis Palmer, Asabanovic. I mean, there's a list. We've had a list. I mean, they must train that, and I don't know, like the nets in training must be about 40 feet high. Because everybody that gets into that position, that seems where the balls go. Can you just try and keep it on the ground and maybe it'll go the right height? I don't know. It just seems to be an awful lot of that when we do shoot. There's no conviction in it at all. Negrin's another one as well. They seem to be just skying them up in the air. They're just telling them to get over the ball. Like, where's the coaching? You learn it as a kid.
No, totally. The frustrating thing. Well, Terry, the frustrating thing about today as well is Hibs obviously didn't offer anything to the game. We can't sit here and say, "Oh, Kasper Schmeichel was busy. He kept us in the game." Kasper Schmeichel had nothing to do all game. So again, Celtic defensively were doing our job. You look at the results this season, and it's like, defensively, we're not conceding many goals. We're getting through games. We're dealing with any threat, and today wasn't really any threat. No, Hibs didn't really look like they wanted to really attack us. A couple of moments in the first half, one where Martin Boyle used his pace to get in behind, but he was kind of isolated up top, tried to, I get cut inside, try to bend one in, but Kasper Schmeichel just saved it no problem. By Hibs in the second half in particular, I just realised that Celtic just didn't look like scoring, and we're quite happy to just, sit in and get that point. So defensively, we're doing okay there. It's just it all seems to fall apart from the midfield, Terry, going forward. And I said earlier on with Tenecte, a few weeks ago, we're looking at it going, that's it. That's the guy right there. That's the spark that we've been missing. But, today he still looked to take on his man, but the delivery wasn't great and whatnot. But that's the frustrating bit. I say we're doing our part at the back, no problem. It's just this midfield and forward. And for me, how Brendan cannot get the balance right, regardless of what's happened to the transfer window. And of course, transfer window was bad, but still looking at the opposition we've got to play week in, week out with the players he's got available. How, Terry, can he not find something that's, compared to like a year ago, surely he got with some of the players that he's got right now, he can find some kind of formula to, for going forward, a bit more spark, a bit more zip. But it's so pedestrian once the ball leaves the defence and hits into the midfield.
I know, Phil. And on the bus here, we're very much behind the collective and that initiative and support what that's all about. But you have to look at the players that we've got available to us against the opposition that we're playing domestically, and we're being shortchanged here. We're absolutely being shortchanged. I was disappointed in Hibs today. I was coming over thinking this is going to be an absolute rip snorter. Hibs are playing really, really well, as good as they have done in a long time. I was disappointed in them. Kasper Schmeichel didn't have one save to make. You've said it there. Yeah. From goalkeeper, back four, and midfield, from a defensive point of view, today was perfect, absolutely perfect. Hibs didn't get a shot, which I found disappointing, because I don't understand how you know that which players in their team had chances and got touches and stuff, because I struggle enough to try and work out what Celtic players were on the ball when I'm.
The only reason I know that is because one with Boyle's quite quick, but it was down at the end that I sit, and it was Martin Boyle. But that's it. Other than that, I can't think of anything else.
It's so much easier when you're watching the TV and you've got replays and stuff. But yeah. I was kind of watching. I was watching Bhoys with a view to January, because we've been linked with him. But he showed nothing, absolutely nothing. Yeah. He got nothing at his skills or carry fingers. And see that side of the game, I thought we were absolutely fine. Like what you're used to, Celtic, you're not conceding chances, very little threat. But see the final third, we have absolutely no idea, and it's back to that 2-week period where we played Kairat 2 games and we played Rangers, and honestly we had about 3 shots in 2 matches, and that's being generous. And today it's quite similar. You know, we're just bereft of ideas in the final third, and the manager talked all summer about where he needed players to come in, and it was in the front areas. So to be fair to him, he's recognised there's a serious gap there, and there is, and we didn't fill it. And we can put Kells up there as this sort of. I know we had a bit of a giggle during the week just about him, in terms of I slagged him with the ones that he missed because he was a free signing, and I praised the one that he scored because he's got a quality pedigree. He missed chances again today. And he's never going to be the answer. And even if he is the answer, he's the wrong answer, because he was complete afterthought. But all that stuff aside, as you said, Brendan Rodgers, with the players he's got at his disposal against Hibs at home in the SPL, a Hibs team that, let's face it, did not put any threat to us at all. And we cannot create a clear opportunity that leads to a goal. It's poor. And I have been of the mindset since Brendan Rodgers came in that this was the best thing that could have happened to us. This was a manager that we had previously who went to the EPL. He was coming back for redemption, but could we have got somebody as good as him? You think not. But I'm starting to feel, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, I'm not sure sack the board is enough. I like, if a new board came in and you've still got Brendan next season, is that the right thing for Celtic? I'm not sure anymore. I'll be honest with you, I've been going to watch Celtic next month. I've been going to watch Celtic for 40 years, every single season at least once. And it's not all down to the team, but today I fell asleep. I actually fell asleep in the first half, and the person beside me had to wake me at half time to get past me. Now,
good in the first half as well.
I've been on the go since 5:15.
True, that's true. Yeah.
I started on the drink at 9, so it's not all down to the team. But I've done that loads of times. But today was the first time I fell asleep. I fell asleep about 5 or 6 minutes before half time, and the person beside me had to nudge me to get out past me, and I've never fallen asleep at Celtic Park. It was terrible, absolutely terrible. And I'm now starting to think that Brendan, much in the same way as some of the players, and much in the same way as us of the last few years, I think his best days are behind him. I think the only reason we've still got him, and the only reason he's got the appetite for us, is because he doesn't want anything else. I think he's just topping up his pension. I really do. I think he's on the road to retirement. If you think about any sort of workplace you've been in, where you've got the guy that's a few years away from retirement and he's just getting his day in and fattening up his pension and just trying to get from start of the day A, end of the day B as easy as he can get. That's where I'm starting to think that he is. Like, I was watching him. He's not out of the dugout barking instructions, doing the whistles. Remember first time around, he's doing the whistles and he's doing all the instructions and stuff. Since he got back this time, he's hands in pockets, he's head down, or he's just sitting there. He's just fucking sitting there doing nothing and
going through the motions.
I don't like going in hard on him, because I absolutely admire him. And you know, he's only from 20 mile up the road from me, and he's made such a name for himself, and he's done such great things in the game, and he's done such great things for Celtic. But I'm not sure he's the answer anymore. Honest to God, it's absolutely boring to watch this team at the minute. And no matter about what's going on in terms of whether it was a good window or a bad window, it was an absolutely shocking window. But when you line us up player for player against Hibs or any other team in the SPL, he should be getting a performance out of them, and he is not able to get it at this stage. And I'm not sure I want him to be the Celtic manager beyond this season.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, because there's a thing in football. A lot of fans feel it, that managers have only, just in general, not just Brendan Rodgers, but a lot of managers only have like a 3-year cycle. It always seems to be. It's a very common occurrence, and here we are in year number 3 of the second era of Brendan Rodgers. And just like the way the third year began in the first era, and thank you very much for becoming a member there. Was it Squid Punk? Did that say his name? Yeah. Squid Punk. Yes, thank you very much for becoming a member. But yeah, it seems to be a repeat, and we know what happened midway through the third season the last time as well. Will that happen this time? I think he's here to the end of the season. But we see now, obviously, just to make us feel worse, Estepona boys pointed out that Sevco beat that lot last week. Do you know what else I'm going to say as well? That will also sicken even more. That was a defence we were playing today that had Grant Hanley at the middle of it. Grant Hanley.
And by the way, Rodgers praised him, Phil. Rodgers praised him, and he was saying we were up against a very organised defence. Grant Hanley, great player. You know, he organised them, and it was very difficult quality.
Oh my God! I mean, he's one of the ones that whenever Scotland are playing these days, people just roll their eyes like, "How's Grant Hanley still getting a game for Scotland?" Yes, he was playing. It was the Rocky Bashiri that was playing, and he's normally a bit of a bomb scare. It was Grant bloody Hanley that was in, and we couldn't. Like, he was throwing himself in front a lot of things. You see when it got to late in the second half, and it just became desperate throwing balls into the middle. As much as I'm sort of criticising Grant Hanley just now, that's bread and butter to a guy like him. Just up, head it away, no problem. So he was dealing with. We got to that stage in the game where we were just making it dead easy for him, of all people. Liam, I'll come to this point. So Veggie Man has said this: the best we played was against Falkirk, and surprise, surprise, Callum was on the bench that night. I rest my case. The Falkirk performance was actually probably one of the, out of what we've played so far this season, probably is one of the best performances. But yeah, Callum McGregor, he's highlighting that fact. And again, we said it last night.
Totally
There's no harm in resting him at times, but it just feels like, he's a club captain. You've said this before, Liam, about the infamous COVID season. The warning signs were there. Scott Brown playing way more than he needed to. And we're seeing similar characteristics with Callum McGregor right now, and it's like it wouldn't do him, it wouldn't be a bad thing to give him a wee rest here and there, as we did before, because again, we should have enough in the tank to beat a team like Hibs. But yeah, as Veggie Man said there, Williams, what did you make of that take?
I mean, he was gaining everything today. I mean, there had a couple of his shots where he got himself in those positions where sometimes we see a Callum McGregor goal. So I was optimistic there, but it ended up just being like a pass back, and and which just shows you like maybe it is the playing time, that he's no got that zip right now that we expect for Callum McGregor. We always say like his team's like an engine or a clock or something like that, and the timing has to be right. And Callum McGregor for that position has to be the one that get all the timing going. And we let a team that like we're a Rolex for the Barras right now. As far as your timing's going, it's just daft. And can I just say one more thing? And it was just what Terry was talking about earlier about Hibs showing no passion. Have you ever seen a Hibs team that threw themselves to the ground as much? And there must have been about 40 snipers in the crowd, because there's 40 bodies at different times littered across the park. One guy's like 3-4 times in a row. Like, how many times did they go down with head knocks and stuff? And you're seeing it on the replay. Absolutely nothing.
Yep.
And I don't know if you want to get the referee in at some point, Phil. Maybe you want to comment next, but Don Robertson was fucking atrocious today.
Yeah.
And same with the VAR. VAR seemed to... Were you out with the VAR guys this morning, Terry? Because I don't think they made it back for the pub. They're still there waiting on their back.
Aye, they were in before me, so they were.
Because there was a handball shout in the second half, and there was no review or nothing, if I remember right.
So they showed the replay, and there was actually potentially 3. There was one here, there was one like that, and there was one that came from behind. And when you're showing them the replay, and it's all like, well, okay, well that looks like, he didn't put his arm to the goal side. His arm went to the side that was going towards the net. So it wasn't like he was off balance in that. And it hit him, at this point here. And, anytime they got body sick, they just fell down. And Don Robertson bought everything.
Is it just me, Liam? Or does Don Robertson referee like 1 in every 2 Celtic matches?
I said that earlier on.
Like
that is That's the 5th time I think he's refereed us this season. That's the 4th or 5th time, and we've only played a handful of domestic games realistically, because he did.
I didn't know who the referee was, but watching the decisions and watching from afar with really bad eyesight, I said to my brother, I said, I bet you that's Don Robertson refereeing. I just knew by the way the game was going that it was Don Robertson, and then I got the glasses on properly and zoomed in a wee bit, and obviously it was him. But does he not do a really high proportion of Celtic games, or am I just making that up?
Doing a lot, yeah. Actually, I think it's the 4th or 5th time we've had him this season. I don't know, is he now being promoted to like the top referee out of them? Because now a few years ago you had like Craig Thompson was like
is he a Celtic fan? Is he a Celtic fan? Maybe he's a Celtic fan. No, he's asked to do a match.
Don't know.
No chance.
No. He's very stop-start. Very similar to Kevin Clancy in a way that he's very stop-start with everything. And going back to what Liam said there, that Hibs just played the game the streetwise way. We see it all the time when we play a European game in particular. Teams are very good at just, if you just breathe on them, essentially, they'll throw themselves to the ground and they win a free kick and it kills a bit of time. And yeah, Hibs have obviously seen that today, because it was, for the most part, one-way traffic. When you actually look at it, the way the game panned out, Celtic were always in control of the ball and were always, looking for that goal, but just nothing came off of us. So Hibs obviously realised as the game was going on that, they weren't getting anywhere. So it was just a case of, right, we're sitting on a 0-0 just now, just let's frustrate Celtic. And yeah, so you just got to say, well, fair enough. We fell for it. There's so many times when you watch some of the fouls, and it's like we've bought it hook, line, and sinker, Liam, where we've given the referee that option. There was one in the second half, I think, where Ralston just clumsily runs up behind his player and it just shoves him right in the back, just arms right out. And it's like, what were you even thinking there? You know what's going to happen. And then I say any other ones, you just get a bit too close, a bit too touch tight. We saw it with Kairat. We've seen it with numerous European teams over the years that come to Celtic Park. They just know how to kill the game, frustrate the crowd, and Hibs have done that today, mate.
I think you're hitting on a really interesting point right now. And if you actually look for it now, you can see more of it, is the indiscipline within the team as well. Yeah. So you can see that sort of breakdown as well, because the other night in the European game, Scales getting into it with, is it Otanovic?
Oh, yeah, him and an outfit having a wee bit of afters, right?
But you seen in one of the replays, Scales throws a wee dig at him as he's going on the way into the net. And I think that sort of frustration sort of comes out, when you're a professional football player, because maybe things aren't as professional behind the scenes as they should be. And so that's sort of like, like we've already seen signs this year, like with players being not signed properly, missing signing deadlines, like we've had a lot of this sort of thing, like not getting back to agents and things. It just seems to be, as Terry said earlier about that guy that's just looking to get his last paycheck or whatever. that everybody's just riding this out for 2 more years and we all get our pension. You know, where it's like there's nobody seem to be other than like Don Mackay coming across and Ange coming to try and rock the boat and develop new ideas. I mean, they even rolled out all the fossils for Celtic years gone by this year. Peter Grant, Neil Lennon, all that, all making comments about, everything's all right, everything's great. This is just Celtic how it is. Almost like, let's just soften them up and we'll be fine with us. Just ride it out. And I don't know, there seems to be just a lower of standards within the club. And like right overall for the bits missing in the stadium, right on down to now the indiscipline you're starting to see for players on the park.
Yeah, no, I say they just give the referee that option. So some of them today were just so silly. It's like, I say the Ralston one stood out in particular, but it's like, mate, what are you thinking there? You know what's going to happen. It was just so undisciplined, just to just shove them in the back. I say other times, you just stand off them just a little bit. They're not really going anywhere. They're still in their own half. It's like, but they get too close to them. Hibs player just feels a wee bit of contact. They go down, and it was just stop, start. Now, Terry, really simple question. I'm going to bring this one up from Jim C, because we need to start looking at the bigger picture here right now. Are Hearts a threat? Because right now, Hearts are obviously 2 points in front. Aberdeen obviously had a rip-roaring start last season, and we know how that went. But obviously, Hearts have got this investment from Tony Bloom, who I believe owns Brighton, and I think he also owns... There's a team in Belgium that apparently he owns who won the first...
Union Saint-Gallois.
They beat PSV Eindhoven in the Champions League. Yeah.
They won the league last year.
Canadian
he's obviously made noise about, he thinks that Hearts can challenge for the title within the next 5 years or whatever, but hey, it might come this season.
He said 10. He
10,
said 10.
But right now, as it stands, they are 2 points in front. We play them in a month. I believe it's the 26th of October. We play them at Tynecastle. It's also 3 days after we play Sturm Graz in the Europa League. So we'll have a Europa League game. Luckily, it's at Celtic Park, the Europa League game, so we're not travelling somewhere on the continent to come back and play. But even at that shouldn't be used as an excuse. But yeah, I guess we'll see where both teams are at this. But at this point, Terry, how do you see Hearts? Are they a threat? Should we be worried at this stage in any way?
This isn't me being wise after the event, because you can play it back and see what I said maybe about 4 or 6 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I don't know Tony Bloom, obviously, but I know of him from outside of football because I have a great interest in horse racing. Mm-hmm. And he is a very, very feared horse owner. He is fearsome in the betting ring. He's a gambler. He's a risk taker. But I said when I was talking about him that everything he touches turns to gold. He takes risks, but they're calculated risks. He gambles, but he gambles when the odds are in his favour. And he's been very, very successful with Brighton. He's took a League One team essentially to the Premiership, and they're now top half Premiership team. They won away at Chelsea today. Just sort of play that out. He's then gone to Belgium and he's taken Union Saint-Gallois, who I watched against Rangers a couple of years ago, and they were absolutely dreadful. But they've won that league last year against a Bruges team who are top class.
Yep.
And he's come into Hearts and he's invested £10 million. And he's talking about a 10-year plan. So let's look at that 10-year plan. Let's look at how things are playing out now. He's about 3% of the way through that 10 years. And look how nervous we're getting already. To the point that we're sitting on here talking about it. This is 2 months into a 10-year plan, and we're getting twitchy. So just let that sink in. This guy puts his money down, but he only does it when the odds are stacked in his favour, and he feels that this is the time and this is the right job, and everything else he has touched in his gambling / business life has turned to gold. So he's a threat. These are an absolute threat. And even if it doesn't happen this season or next season or the one after, this is a 10-year plan. He's only 2 months into it and we're shaking ourselves already. Do you know what I mean? And they're looking good. They are looking good. And see if we get to January and they're still in the hunt, he'll throw the dough at it. He'll find a way to get that money in. As much as our board find a way not to spend money, he'll find a way to spend as much money as he possibly can. Because if he smells blood, he'll go for it. So, long story short, my answer to your question is Hearts are a threat. This isn't the same as Aberdeen. There's money here ready to go in January. They've spent decent sums of money during the summer. I would say he has looked at Rangers and he has thought, yeah, they're vulnerable. There's a chance we can finish above them. And he's looked at Celtic and he's thought, yeah, do you know what? We probably won't beat them, but you never know. You never know. They've started to downsize. They've started to regress. He's put his money in at the optimum time where Rangers are in trouble and we're downsizing. So they're an absolute threat. Phil, can you hear a noise coming through? Phil or Liam? Can you hear like a noise coming through in my
No.
Serious noise going on in the hotel room. Let me see if I can just sort it out here.
Frank, your bar sleeping.
Can you stop snoring, Frank? Like Frank the Tank has an empty.
He's out. He's had enough.
He's out for the count. He's out. I've just had to do a 10 count on him there. He is referee. It's over. Frank the Tank
absolutely done.
He is done. But no, no, definitely. I think they're a threat. I don't think this is the same as last season, where they may well fall away, but this is a long-term project, and they're only going to get better. They're only going to get better, and I just wish we had somebody like Tony Bloom coming into Celtic with bright ideas and a bit of, a bit of being prepared to take a risk and trying to push the envelope and see how far he can get with things. We've got a board who just that it's how little can we do, whereas he's coming in and going, can I take a punt here? Can I chance my arm? And I would love to have that in our boardroom.
Yeah, definitely. You've got Don Mackay's name. There was also a lot of talk that when he did come in for that 10 weeks it ended up, he was trying to be too revolutionary and try and change things too much, and they didn't like that. And a couple of comments I bring up about the Hearts question. So Chris D says Hearts aren't winning shit. Watching their squad starts breaking down. They recently went out the cup, which is true. They did go to St Mirren. But Graham Tyrrell says that the way we're playing right now, I'm not confident for Tynecastle. Graham Martin says, think with McInnes's experience of Scottish football, they are a threat in his opinion. And LM says that Hearts will do an Aberdeen last season, but they'll beat us in a few games, and the Huns will be like 4 points behind. So it's going to be a bit touch and go. But say October 26th, I do think we're playing the Jambos at Tynecastle. And say it's a few days after the Europa League game. Interesting enough, I think the second meeting we've got with Hearts as well also comes after the Europa League game. So, we've got that to contend with. But yeah, Liam, in terms of, let's try and look at some kind of positivity if there was any. Anybody you think does get pass marks from their performances today, or is it all just, they were all equally as poor?
Okay, we have a bit of time. Dyson might end up being the solution to the right wing. I mean, a right-footed player on the right wing. I know that's probably somehow passed by our coaching staff, but I thought today he looked good. He was whipping balls into the box, and I thought there was a lot of balls going in, but they just weren't connecting. And so in that first half, I was looking quite optimistic. I thought, okay, so of what's come on so far, he's the one that's looked the best. He was also moving in and he was swapping with Iheanacho as well, right? Which I thought was interesting. He had a couple of good headers and that. But, I mean, it's the most lively I've seen him in a wee while. He still didn't look great, but maybe there's some other solutions other than the people that are prescribed just for that one position, that he's got to start using the squad and finding the best football players and then start putting them in the best positions for them. It can't be like this easy that, well, I've only got left wingers, or change your system, as we said before as well. And I think that's the one thing that I think is we're needing a refresh. I think this team's just exhausted of playing that style of football. They've run out. And you play chess. You start playing the same opening all the time, and then you start losing games because you start losing your way just because you're so used to it that people have figured you out and they're 3 or 4 moves ahead of you because they know exactly how you're going to do it and how you're going to play it. Yep. And right now, Rodgers is going to have to, start watching the Queen's Gambit or something, get the chess set out because he's got to start making some moves.
Yeah, but we are a bit too predictable.
That's for the king up there.
We are very predictable right now. A lot of teams can just kind of see it coming. I say today when it sort of descended into despotism near the end, you're just making it bread and butter for a guy like Grant Body Hanley at the back, just getting up and heading things away because that's what we're resulting to. Just launch it in the box and just see what happens. Terry, a name that's coming up here in the chat that some people are liking, and I did think he did have quite a good performance today, was Sriracha. Estepona Boys mentioned that. He was unlucky not to get an assist because that ball that he zipped across the second half for Iheanacho was obviously just inches away from it. But again, I think that boy's shown in the short time he's been here, he can deliver a half-decent ball in the box. Did it down at Rugby Park. I think, he's came in. It looks like he'll be an adequate sort of alternate to Kieran Tierney, Terry, because that was obviously one of the things in the first few weeks that we noticed was, okay, Tierney isn't up to full speed. He's not completing 90 minutes, but when he was going off, Liam Scales was going to left back, and Liam Scales doesn't seem too comfortable there. Granted, I think Liam Scales has actually played no bad at centre-back this season. He's actually been one of the better performers this season. But I think Sriracha, Terry, I think he did all right today. So he puts in a few decent balls. It's just a case of just the guys in the middle just being inches away from getting on the end of it, mate.
He looks okay, Phil. He looks all right. I'm not going to get overexcited about him. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't want to see Sriracha. I want to see Kieran Tierney at full power down the left. I don't want us to need Sriracha. I want a fit Kieran Tierney playing 90 minutes every single week. Veggie Man, just I had to pull that up. See, to be honest, I struggle for Guinness in Scotland. Like it's not great. I don't know what you are doing in Scotland, like, but you just can't get the Guinness right at all. Honestly, it's bad in England, but it's really, really bad in Scotland. So whatever you are doing, you need to just rip the whole thing up and start again from scratch. The Guinness in Scotland is very, very poor. That said, the couple that I had this morning in the town, they were probably a 5.5 out of 10, which isn't bad. But
a breakfast Guinness.
Honestly, the Guinness in Scotland's bad. The Guinness in England is bad. I've never tasted really good Guinness outside of Ireland, and Dublin's the best. They say it doesn't travel well, and that seems to be the case. I'm going away with work now in a couple of weeks, and I've had a wee bar recommended to me, and a lot of connoisseurs reckon it is the best outside of Ireland in Manchester. So I'm going to try that in a couple of weeks and see how we get on. But not great in Scotland, but I factor it in when I'm coming over. I'm only having a couple of Guinness just for sips, and then I'm on to the VOD. But no, Sriracha, he's brought in. He's a loan signing, no option to buy. He's just to me, he's just Jeffrey Sloop again, isn't he? And Jeffrey Sloop looked good in the first couple of months, and everybody was going, "Oh, sign this guy," and all the rest. I watch Sriracha, and I do have concerns. He reminds me a wee bit of Stefan Mahe.
One of Liam's favourite players. Liam loved Stefan Mahe.
His debut that day at Ibrox, and he was straight into a challenge, and he was late, and he just looks to me like he's a red card waiting to happen at some point this season. But he looks a good enough player. I just don't want to see him because I want Tierney playing. Like, what was the point of his? What was the point of us bringing in KT if he's only a part-time player who plays every now and again and doesn't play 90 minutes? So I won't go in hard on Sriracha. He looks fine, but I don't want to see him. I want to see Tierney all day long.
No, totally. No, I get that. So I was very, very excited about Tom Kieran Tierney.
Just jump in there for a second.
Of course you can, yeah.
If Celtic was a team of rock stars all throughout life, Stefan Mahe would have been Joe Strummer. I love Stefan Mahe. He's my Celtic's Joe Strummer.
Yep. Absolute maniac. Absolute maniac of the highest order. Yeah, man, Stefan Mahe, he was unhinged at times, that guy. But yeah, in terms of, like I say, a lot of things, obviously Liam come up in the chat, and the same concern a lot of people are saying about who is going to score the goals. Like right now, who do we rely on? Because we seem to be going through flashes here where it's like, I'll get you a natural, he's the answer. Then today, he's missed a couple of clangers. And, as Terry said on Wednesday night when me and him were doing the post-match, Liam, where it was like 1 second he looked like, well, that's what you get for signing a loan player, or not a free transfer after the window closes. Then moments later, he goes and scores a great goal. Then it was like, well, that was a shrewd move there by the Celtic board and whatnot. But obviously, like him through the middle, then today he goes off. Obviously, we're struggling for a goal. He had a few misses, but either way, he's still an out-and-out striker. Brings on Johnny Kenny, who at the end, there was one chance at the end, that header. I think the goalkeepers hammed up the save for the cameras, by the way, because it was in slow motion. He headed it down the way, it bounced up, and the keeper could have probably just picked it out there. Instead, he leaps out and tips it away, and it was like, I don't know. But anyway, but that was literally the answer was to put on Johnny Kenny. Shin Yamada was nowhere to be seen again. And yeah, right now, who are we going to rely on to really score the goals? I say at the top of the show, that's the 4th 0-0 that Celtic have had, and it's not even October yet. And it's like, when do you see Celtic doing that? We're always associated with goals. And yeah, we're running on empty, it seems, at times.
We were talking about that today at the Vancouver Shamrock Celtic Supporters Club. And yeah, we used to be known for going like maybe seasons without like scoring every single game. We had a lot of consecutive streaks with that sort of thing. And that was the thing. You knew you were always going to see win, lose or draw. You knew you were going to see some goals with Celtic. And I can't remember a season where we've had so many zeros on the scoreboard. I think we've concentrated too much on the defensive aspects for the game. And we've got all that covered. We know how to build for the back, but we don't know how to capitalise on anything for the front. I think we need a striker coach in or something again now. When we had Harry Kewell and people like that, who's he been replaced by? Another defender or something, like a Darren O'Dea or something? We had guys like Damien Duff. We had guys that knew how to attack, not just for Celtic, but for other teams that had played in quality, systems and that stuff with good coaches. Yeah, it's just another part of one of these things where you just have to look and start questioning the manager and the tactics. As you said about, Sriracha and KT. Okay, how long do you think before Sriracha starts looking for that ball back all the time and just settles into that zone?
Yeah.
Sort of like this zombification. I mean, we're trying to, they're zombies, but we're trying to imitate zombies. So I don't know. It's we just seem too coached. Like we're overcoached. It doesn't seem to be, Terry says, like, how long before you see him beat that out of a player? And that's what I think we need right now. Is that Brendan's just trying to do maybe too much stuff with the team. Just fucking let them play.
This might be a wee bit too easy of a link, but why could we not bring in the likes of a Hartson or a Sutton? They're obviously interested in having a career in football. They obviously have
why?
Affiliation.
Why? Because they'll not say yes.
A desire to be involved in Scottish football. Like they're two of the best strikers we've had in the last 20 years. Bring them in and give them whatever Sky or BT Sport are paying them for a couple of games. Bring them in and give them a salary and teach them how to play. Teach these boys how to play centre forward. Do you know what I mean?
I think what Liam said there's kind of spot on about them, though. But particularly in Sutton's case, he's not a guy that is going to bow to their instructions and whatnot at the board, because he's been very, very critical of how things have went. He's been one of the more outspoken voices. John Hartson, on the other hand, perhaps. But yeah, something needs to change massively. And I think, Terry, what Liam touched on there.
I wouldn't like Big John to be in charge of the nutrition department all the same.
No, definitely not. No, definitely not that one. That one wouldn't work out too well. I don't think the modern day sports scientist would enjoy that one too much. But I do think that's a good point from Liam to say, look at some of the coaches we've had in recent years. Say Harry Kewell and Damien Duff and whatnot. These were like attacking players in their day, a lot of flair around them. But yeah, it just seems like there's just such a spark missing right now. And again, it could just be, and I can't believe you said, because football shouldn't be, just very regimented and black and white, where it's like, oh yeah, this is my formation, this is my system, I'm just going to stick to it. Again, elite level coach, Terry, which is something we always say about Brendan. What's wrong with changing up your formation? I think somebody pointed out when he was a Leicester manager, At times he was playing like a 3-4-3 type of formation, like changing it up, and it's like, you know, away from his sort of like 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, whatever it is, and it's like, well, you're meant to be like this elite level coach, as we, or many deem
When
him
was
to
the
be.
last time, Phil? When
Yeah.
was the last time he made an in-game decision where you've just went,
Yeah.
wow, that's the manager? To me, it's
Mhm.
still that one where we were reduced to 10, Ibrox.
And that was in
that's the last one I
2018.
remember.
That's scary. How long ago that
Is
was.
that not right? Is that not the last time he made a difference where he brought? Did he bring Edward on? He brought on
Ron
striker.
Edward, we weighed out to 10 men, and instead of bringing on another defender at 2 each to try and see it out, he brought on another striker, and we ended up winning
back to what I'm saying. He's sitting down, or he's standing there with his coat on, his hands in his pockets, chewing gum with his head down. Where is he? Where is he doing his absolute best to make a difference in the game? Well, I don't see it.
I'll throw something back at you, Terry, here that might be an answer here about his backroom team, because see that instant you're talking about, the Edward moment coming on at Ibrox, see the second that happens, Siminovic is walking off the park, the camera's cut to Brendan Rodgers, and Chris Davis is in his ear right away, like advising him on something. I wonder if it's the fact of, you know, he's obviously worked with Chris Davis now before. He brought his own backroom team the last time, but this time it was a case of, okay, you're coming back. Well, you're going to get John Kennedy. I know he was part of the team last time. You're going to get Gavin Strachan. You're going to have to work with Steve McManus and all that. So maybe that's part of it. You know, I know Alex Ferguson at Man United for years. He would always change his backroom staff every couple of years and freshen it up. He had like Terry Phelan, Brian Kidd, Carlos Queiroz. He kept on switching it around with his assistant manager and some of his coaches.
Well, that's still on him, Phil. That's still on him. If
but will the club allow him to do it, though? Will the club allow him? Because John Kennedy seems to be like a permanent fixture.
You wouldn't have got Davies this time because he's moved on.
Yeah, true.
He's moved on. You wouldn't have got him. Just before I move on, Brian, I'd be interested from your perspective as a Hearts fan. How do you guys feel about what this season could bring? Do you feel you're in with a shout? Do you feel as if Celtic will go on and win it comfortably? Do you think it's between Celtic and Hearts, or do you see anybody else involved? I'd be interested just from a Hearts fan's perspective, and you're very welcome on the pod, by the way, so thank you for coming on. Be interested just how you guys feel. Is it too early to start feeling that? You're bound to feel something like at this stage, you know. So drop us a wee comment there and let us know how it feels from a Hearts fan perspective. But Chris Davies, obviously, didn't he go in and work for Ange?
He did, when Ange went to Tottenham, he tried to take John Kennedy with him. That didn't happen. He took Chris Davis. He got him.
Now he's out on his own. He's out on his own as a manager.
Birmingham manager now, yeah.
Aye. So you were never going to get him, but it almost felt as if Brendan's come back on his own without any of the guys that he had there the last time, other than John Kennedy. And again, it kind of leans back to that sort of, is he just going through the motions and seeing time out and fattening up his pension? I don't know, but he has to be seen to be doing more. Do you know what I mean? Like we've watched so many games slip away from us, and you're thinking, at least show us something. Like stick on an extra attacker, go for broke, do something like that day. Ibrox, he came out of that was a Brendan masterclass. But for me, that's the last masterclass that we've seen, and that's a long, long time ago.
Yeah, I generally can't think of any real game-changing moments. Any in-game
he's
subs.
He's the one you're thinking. He can make a difference for us.
Well, you know what he could do right now, Terry? He could look at the fact that we've had all these 0 scores where we've not been able to score goals this year, and actually there's no signing window on signing a striking coach. Bring in Henrik Larsson or something for a bit, or who knows?
He wasn't great, to be honest, Liam. He wasn't great. He wasn't great.
Just to train the strikers. But you know what? He knew how to put the ball in there. And if you can't get him, I don't know. Just throw it out there. See who's out there that Brendan Rodgers knows that wants to come in and work and coach these strikers. You know, because it seems like they're all missing in confidence, and they need somebody with a bit of experience to come in and maybe get them through this
Liam,
thing where we don't know how to score goals.
Liam, a few weeks ago, there was a thing where, and I'm not saying this is the player, but just give you an example of like how Celtic will work with coaches from outside. Like Mark Albrighton, who used to play for Leicester under Brendan Rodgers, he's now wearing his coaching badges. He was up at Lennox Town as like a sort of like, to work with some players, get a bit of experience and whatnot. So they are open to bringing in outsiders for things like that. So why not, as you say, look at, former strikers now that maybe they can bring in for these types of coaching sessions to get that sharpness up and whatnot. So
bring in Dimitar Berbatov. He's got
Dimitar Berbatov. Yes.
Yeah, do you see him in the Man United Celtic game? He's still rapid. He could probably play for the team. One of the best strikers ever.
Class player. Absolutely different class. But yeah, in terms of, there's not much else to talk about in terms of this game today. So it's now Braga on Thursday night. And I know, Terry, you're not particularly fussed about the European games, but as it stands right now, if we want to get back to the Champions League level, coefficient points are going to be massive. So we need to try and make a go of this. Now, at the start, when the draw was made, I went, okay, make the home games count and get whatever we can away from home. We already got a point. But now, after looking at the results, I think Braga beat Feyenoord on Wednesday night. And after our performance today, I'm like, do you know what? This is going to be really, really difficult come Thursday. It's Thursday we're playing this week, isn't it? And not Wednesday. But it's Braga next, so we need to have a go at it and try and get something out the game, because the coefficient points are going to be massive going forward. So how are you feeling about this, Terry, in the next few days for Braga coming to town?
Yeah, the fucker snoring there. Am I ever going to get him to go out to the pub here after this pod? No, Phil, it's not that I'm not interested in it. I'm not up for it. I am up for the games, but I'm still struggling to come to terms with the fact that this is where we're at, and I know it's where we're at. I'm still struggling with that result against Kairat. I just can't fathom how we didn't strengthen going into that game. Like, see what we've ended up with Tunekte, Balakwisha and Kells. As bad as that is, because that's not a good outcome for the end of the window.
Yeah. But
if we had that before that Almaty game, we would be through. We'd be in the Champions League now. If that was what we got, like say somehow those were the top 3 targets and we got them a month before that game, we'd be sitting in the Champions League. That's the bit that annoys the Celtic fans. It's not that we got Iheanacho on a free. It's not that we got Balakwisha and Tunekte. It's that we got them after the damage was already done. If we had got those 3 in, and I'm not convinced they are the absolute answer, and certainly in terms of Kells, he wasn't the plan. But if we had got those 3 in before that game, couple of weeks before that game, we would have won that match. We would have won that 2-legged tie. We would have created something over those 2 games. Iheanacho would have had 3 chances, and on what we've seen, he probably needs 3 chances to score 1, and we would have got the job done. And that's the problem. Celtic fans aren't demanding Champions League level upgrades. We're just wanting the business done in a timely manner, that we're in our best position. We're going into those games the best version of we can possibly be. And even if what we've got now is the best version we've got now because we haven't done enough, but even if we had that poor version, that would have been enough to get through that game. And I'm still struggling to come to terms with that. But I will embrace the Europa League. I'm still in a place, if you ask me to name who we're playing for the rest of the games, I could probably get about half of them. But when Thursday comes round, I'm up for it, and I absolutely want us to win it. For me, qualification is a must. If we fail to get through the top 20, is it top 24 in that?
Top 24 again, yeah. Same scenario as last year.
That's just rubbing salt into the winds. But in terms of Thursday night, Braga will be absolutely no pushovers. Like, you're talking about a team that's finished a couple of places below Sporting Lisbon, Benfica or Porto. They're not going to be any mugs. Do you know what I mean? We've played them before. I think we beat them at home. We lost away. Yeah. I think what we need to do in this group, we're wanting to win 3 out of the 4 home games. If keep me right here, Phil, I could be totally wrong. The home games are against Braga, Sturm Graz, and Utrecht and Roma. Is that right?
Spot on. There you go. You're
Well,
talking
there we
yourself
go.
down a minute ago, going, I wouldn't even know the fixtures.
No, I
Look
just
at you.
I just remember you saying it the other night. So Sturm Graz are absolute dog shit. If you don't beat them, there's something wrong. Utrecht, it'll be probably
beat them.
If you look at any of the
Barkas and goal Utrecht.
Is it? Oh, he'll have a worldly. He'll have an absolute worldly against us.
That's the second last game. I think that's the last home game. We've got Bologna in the final game away from home, but the second last game at home is against Utrecht. So you know what's going to happen.
Hologram Hands will have an absolute worldly against us. Of course he will. And Roma. Roma's obviously they're the I think they're the favourites along with Aston Villa for the whole thing. So that'll be a decent tie. But you're looking to win 3 out of those 4, and we've already got a point away from home. And if we get 1 or 2 more, then we're through that thing. What's Christy talking about? Terry Red.
He's saying you're at it. He's all having it, mate.
He's all having it 4 times. Oh fuck.
Liam, I guess we'll wrap up by saying there's one more player. We're going to do what Terry does here, a bit of player watch. There's one guy whose name I'm seeing is coming up a lot right now for his cameo that he made, and it did genuinely look like he hadn't even seen a football. It was Balakisha. So disappointed, so disappointed, Liam, in that one. There was a point near the end of the game where obviously we're pushing, but wanted to try and get the ball into the box, and he just seemed to malfunction, just seemed to have a glitch in the matrix. We didn't know if he wanted to cross it or whatnot, and it was just like a really tame ball that just sort of went right out of play. And Balakisha, Liam, I was seething at that one the day. He was way off it, man.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, is this not a guy that we had to, during our busy part of the transfer world, that we had to send an entourage over to Belgium to convince him
apparently so, yeah.
Celtic. That we had to convince him. Well, I'm not convinced. That's about 3-4 games now. So the last 2 I've really watched them just to see, okay, well, is there something here, I don't get it. But said it earlier as well, he never came with a highlight reel. It impressed me one bit soever. It was like, okay, why are we signing this guy? And then there was another one that said, well, we're meeting with his, I don't know, I think the word might have been his entourage or something like that. And I said, oh no, what we getting? This boy's got an entourage. Come with your dad, your agent, your brother or something like that, but your fucking entourage. Anyway, it just all the red flags are right there of a really poor transfer window with really poor recruitment, and not really knowing what we wanted or how to get it, And now what we're seeing, that now all the windows are shut and we're all in the same house together, and we're starting to see all the cracks in the walls and the fucking papers ripping off, and we're just seeing what's been pasted up and what's been plastered over. And what we're left with right now is we're left with a half-decent team, but we're not getting the best out of them. And they're not getting the best from themselves and from each other. And it just seems to be a whole disconnect with this whole thing right now, that somehow we've fucked up a really good thing. We have taken the momentum and we've just taken all the pace off it right now to what? To slow down. Because you know what? No everybody can travel at the speed of light. No everybody can live in the fast lane and shit. And that's what you're seeing right now. You're seeing with some people have this colonial or provincial mindset. They don't see globally, they don't see internationally, they don't see anything beyond just their comfort zone and where they are right now. And that's what really bothers us as Celtic supporters, because we've always dreamed big. We've won a big cup, and that's what it is. It's like they're not dreaming as big as us. And that's what's really disappointing in that. And oh my God, we've got one of the best supports in the world. Look at all the gear we sell, and for all corners of this planet and stuff, and they're at their risk of losing that or damaging it for at least a generation or 2. And we do so much to keep this club and the history and everything about it alive. And they're not playing their part right now. All they can see is what's in front of them right now. And I wish they'd just hold up their hands and just talk to the fucking fans. Have a word. You're there because of us. No, the other way around. We're not there. We're not supporting the team because of anything they've done. It's all because of what the teams and what we've all got family. We've all got friends. Everybody's played with this club. We're all family. We're all related. And it just really bothers me to get up and everyone watch this sort of shit where it just looks like everybody's just sort of gave up. You know, he's just trying to get through the next year. What do they know that we don't? You know, I want to see the club do better. And yeah, it's just that lack of imagination that can't be forgiven, you know. The most, you know.
I can see I can tell by the passion in your voice, Liam. That was from the heart, mate. Nobody can deny that.
Here, mate.
That was, mate. That was that.
Bulgarian Ricky.
So, Terry, the bus home, the post-match is your domain. So I'll let you have the final summary, the final closing words on today, and we'll wrap it up there. So, Mr. Post-match, take it away, sir.
I've had an absolutely brilliant day. As I said to you before we come on, the only thing that got in the way of a brilliant day was watching that 90 minutes. And as I say, I'm totally embarrassed by this, but I've never fallen asleep at Celtic Park before, but I fell asleep in that first half. That's just not me. It's not, it's nothing to do with being up early. It's nothing to do with drink. It was just absolute torture. It was just pulling teeth. I think if we're going to see this whole change thing through, we need to see it through fully. It ain't just the board. It's got to be more than that. To me, it's got to be root and branch. It's got to be manager. It's got to be players that don't want to be there. It's a bigger job than what we first thought. But I had a brilliant day. Big shout out to Reegan. Absolute gentleman. Spent a couple of hours in his company this afternoon. Lovely guy. Steve from the Celtic World Order met me for a couple of pints before the match. So shout out to those guys as well. Check his pod out. Brilliant day. The 90 minutes was torture. I can't lie. But at the end of the day, I still love being there. I still love being at Celtic Park. I still love sitting in the seat and watching the green and white Hibs try to get the job done. It's what is it now? 9:10. Once we come off this, I'm probably going to go out here for a couple of hours.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
I'm still snoring there.
Boy.
For a couple of hours and then I'll get a bite to eat. And then tomorrow, Liam McGrandles, just turn your phone off and do not reply to any messages from me. I'm going to be coming watching you. 2 gigs. He's got 2 gigs tomorrow. I'm going to go and watch both of them. Then I'm going to go and watch Paul Sheridan from the Wakes in Conley's tomorrow night. So tomorrow's a gig day. 3 gigs, 2 McGrandles and 1 Paul Sheridan. Glasgow, what have you got for me? Let's go, Glasgow. Let's go. Let's go. Come on.
Treat our boy right.
So with that said, done, folks, we will head off. It's all eyes now on Braga for the next one. So I've been Phil, he's been Terry, he's been Liam, we've been the boys on the bus. This has been your bus home for Celtic 0, Hibs 0. Let's hope it's just a wee blip and we can get over it pretty soon. So yes, we'll see you on the next one, folks. Remember, do all the good stuff on the way out. And thanks for watching. Catch you all later, guys. See yous.
You know.